What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 99th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So, unless you live under a rock, you will know that this month is Pride Month, which I will say is a very interesting month for me. Everything is covered head to toe in rainbows. It's like June 1st hits and every single corporation is like, let's just add more colors on everything. So, I decided to do my part in the celebration. Not because I support the LGBTQUAAIP community or agenda, but because I wanted to make a point. In my new logo, you can see that the logo has a Bible verse on it, which is Genesis 9:13 through 15. This was the very first mention of the rainbow in the Bible, as there was sort of a sticky situation that God got into, as the world was full of people that were doing terrible things, and every single person, excluding Noah, was full of wickedness. So God wanted to sort of restart the world with Noah, and so he sent down a flood which wiped out all the people that were evil and doing terrible things. After the rain settled, a rainbow appeared in the sky, and God said that it was a covenant with Noah and all man that he would never destroy the world with the flood again. Along with that, I think that the rainbow was also used as a symbol to say, all of that wickedness that was on the earth before is all gone, and now it is time to restart. However, we should all know that there is still wickedness and evil in our world today. And ironically, some of that evil and wickedness is coming from the community that uses the rainbow flag the most. Of course, the LGBTQ community. Okay, wait, hold on, stop, pause. Before you come at me with your pitchforks, I am not saying that every single person in the LGBTQUAAIP community is evil and wicked. I understand that there are people in the Christian community that have done evil and wicked and terrible things as well. The thing is, we are able to call them out, and we can claim that, for example, the Catholic Church, they did terrible things to young boys, and guess what? It's a good thing that we can call them out and say, hey, that's a bad thing, and we should call them out, because that stuff is evil and absolutely sick. However, for example, if a boy in a dress went into a girl's bathroom and raped a girl, like what happened in Virginia, then the father is arrested and called a domestic terrorist. Then the news will pick it up, but they won't give out the whole story because that would be transphobic. So this is why I am making this episode. And to be honest, you can call me whatever name you want. But my goal in this episode is to call out the evil that is going on in the LGBTQUAAIP community because everyone else is scared to do it. Now, all of this started because there was a show in Texas for children. It was called Drag Your Kids to Pride. Now, if you're out of the loop a little bit, drag is a new phenomena where men dress up as women and dance around. It's very strange. Usually, it's grown men doing this, but sometimes children decide to get in on the action. Here we have a video of a child, a literal child, in a bar dancing provocatively in front of adults who are handing him dollar bills. Here's that video. I believe that the video speaks for itself. These people are absolutely sick. Something similar was happening at the Drag Your Kids to Pride event. It was hosted in a gay bar, where children were encouraged to get on stage with the men dressed up like women, wrapped up in the idea that this was a family-friendly event. As the poster read, "Do you want to hit the stage with the queens? We have 5 limited spots for young performers to take the stage solo or with a queen of their choosing. Come hang out with the queens and enjoy this unique Pride experience, fit for guests of all ages. And so we get videos like this, where children are walking down the runway. Is this normal, or am I just going crazy?
Strike the pose. Strike the pose.
Strike the pose! Yeah, baby, come on back!
Here's the thing, this was not a family-friendly event, and there shouldn't have been any children there at all. Here, we have a video of one of these drag queens dropping it low in front of a child, a literal child, and then that child gave money to that drag queen. Just watch this video. Now, I'll be straight up and honest with you. There are other clubs, mainly for men, that do the exact same thing that these drag queens are doing. Now, once again, we are just being honest. I have never been to one of those clubs, but I have seen enough movies, TV shows, and have done enough research to know what goes on in those strip clubs. In strip clubs, you have women dancing around seductively for men who will give them money. For this event, you have grown men dropping it low and getting money from literal children. Luckily for all of us and the children there was no stripping from the drag queen dancers. But literally, other than that, I see no difference in this Drag Your Kids to Pride event and a strip club. Seriously, if a child was found in a strip club, there would be fines and legal fees for the parents. But for this event, it's all fun and games. Yes, children, give our hard-earned money to a man that is dressed up like a Barbie doll threw up on him. Now, watching these different videos, you might have noticed that there is something behind the dancers, like a big LED sign of some sorts. Well, it's kind of hard to read in the videos, so luckily I found a picture of it for you. One of the signs, that is right in front of the drag queens and all of the children, says it's not going to lick itself. And there was another sign that said, I licked it, so it's mine, which is not a good way of purchasing things. If you did that at a store, trust me, they will kick you out. Now, I will not explain what these signs mean because you can probably put two and two together and figure it out on your own. Let's just say it's not a reference to lollipops. It is absolutely disgusting. Okay, you are planning a family-friendly event where there will be little kids running all around all over the place. Don't you think that it would have been a smart idea to turn off the most sexually advancing sign in your gay bar? You could have turned it off and covered it with a blanket or something. But no. There it is for all the children to see. And now I am hoping a little bit that these kids ask their parents what that sign meant. So then the parents would have to either A, make something up, or B, it would wake up the parents and say, hey, maybe it wasn't the best idea to bring my kid to a gay bar to watch grown men wear women's clothing and dance around seductively in front of them. Luckily, I am not the only person in the world that sees this drag for kids to pride as evil, wicked, and absolutely disgusting. As there was a representative from Texas named Brian Slatton, who plans on presenting legislation to ban drag shows and other displays that are inappropriate for children. As he wrote on Twitter, drag shows are no place for a child. I would never take my children to a drag show, and I know that the Texas speaker and my Republican colleagues wouldn't either. I'll be filing legislation to address this issue in the coming Texas legislature. This is a great thing, and hopefully there will be other laws that will be coming down the pipeline that will try and help keep children's innocence. To me personally, these parents should be fined, because first, it is illegal for children to be in a bar at such a young age, and it is straight up child abuse. We have these people in drag trying to tell your children that this stuff is normal when it is far from normal. This is grooming, worse than what they are doing in schools. This is them putting their plan into action. They want your kids. They want your little boys to dress up like this and see that it is normal when it's not. I know I'm being a little bit harsh right now, but this stuff is absolutely disgusting. So while people like me are angry about this event and want to see it banned for children to go and see drag queens strip in front of them, there are people that are showing support for these groomers. As after the event, there were people outside the gay bar yelling at the parents and the drag queens that were coming out. They're mostly calling them groomers as well.
Groomer! Groomer! You guys are disgusting! Repent! Repent for your sins!
That was only an 8-second clip, but looking at other clips, it was a mostly peaceful protest. But to the left and the mainstream media, this was the worst thing ever. How dare a group of Christians protest children in a gay bar watching men sexually dance in front of them? Someone on Twitter commented, "This is not a protest. This is a hate mob." And then, the gay bar where children were handing money out to grown men made a statement as they said, "It is sad to see that in 2022, there are people that still want to protest others celebrating who they are, but our staff and wonderful officers helped keep us safe and kept the protesters at bay." Listen, I don't care what year it is. People are not protesting the drag queens or yelling at them because they are gay. These people are not protesting who these people are or what their sexual orientation is. They are protesting because, once again, there were minors in the building giving money to drag queens while they dance provocatively to a sign that reads in the background, "It's not going to lick itself." That's what they are protesting. That's what they were angry about. And that's what I'm angry about. Listen, I don't care where or if you do a drag show, or even if you go to one. Knock yourself out. I think it's disgusting and weird, but you do you. Just don't involve the children, because it is inappropriate and wrong to children. Keep your groomy little hands off the children. The protesters that were protesting at the gay bar were Christians, and some have claimed that they were Christian fascists. Now, to me, the word Christian and fascism shouldn't even be in the same sentence because the ideas don't mix very well. So I am not sure if that is just the media saying that they were fascist because everything that they don't like is fascism, or if some of the people in the crowd were actually fascist, which of course should be condemned totally. And they don't represent me or Christianity. Other than that, once again, the protest was quite peaceful. There was no violence, no one was getting shot or killed or anything. No fires were set, it was just a lot of people yelling back and forth at each other. I still believe, however, that Christians do need to stand up for what they believe in. Not in a hateful way, but in a way that makes a difference. Maybe instead of taking your children to a drag show in a gay bar, what if you took your child to church? What if instead of telling your children that they can be whatever gender they want, you can teach them the truth, that there are only two genders, and men should be married to women, and women should be married to men? I know this is very controversial stuff, but it's the truth. Now, there are people in our world today that are against this idea of taking their kids to church. As there was a post that I saw this week, that when I saw it, it stayed in my head for the rest of the day, and I had little arguments in my head, which seems to be happening to me more and more every single week. Because this post exemplifies how dumb these people actually are, and how they think that somehow church is some evil place. As the post read, "Sorry, but I do not want my children to see drag queens. I want my children at church, hearing graphic descriptions of what it will feel like to burn alive for eternity." So first, I don't even know what chapter or verse in the Bible he's talking about, but hell isn't supposed to be this great, wonderful place. But that's not what churches drill into the brains of kids. They aren't constantly told that they are going to hell. Or maybe I'm going to a crazy different church than you are. Along with that, there are other stories in the Bible than just about people burning in hell for eternity. There is another story that talks about how God sent his only son to die on the cross, so then we wouldn't have to go to hell and burn for eternity. It is a story of redemption, and saying that all have sinned, and guess what? God can take away those sins. So live your life like Jesus would, and have good morals. This is what we should want for our kids, not a drag show. And honestly, that's what stuck in my mind this whole time when I read this post. It was the first part, where he was joking about taking his kids to a drag show. Basically, in the first part, he is saying that he would rather take his kids to a drag show than take them to church, which to me is just backwards logic. And if you want me to be honest with you, I would rather take my kids to any church in the entire world, anytime, anywhere, than take them to a drag show. I would rather have my children put money in the offering plate than put them in the thong of a man dressed up like a woman. I would rather have a Sunday school teacher read my children a Bible story than have a drag queen come into my kids' school and read them a story about how men can be women and women can be men. I would rather my children learn morals like telling the truth, treating others the way you would want to be treated, and honoring your father and mother from a church than learning from a group of people that have parades where they are half naked and where they tell children that getting chemically castrated is a good idea and getting reassignment surgery is a good thing. Now, going back a little bit to our Noah story, it is crazy to think that Noah was the only person on the planet that found favor with God because everyone else was so wicked and evil. Could you imagine living in that time period? A time period where everyone thought Noah was weird for wanting to serve God? Is that how it's going to be for us today? Are people going to think that we're weird for not letting our kids go to a pride parade? Will people think that we are weird that we won't let our sons dress up in drag and dance provocatively in a bar? Will people think that we are weird because we won't stand up for the LGBTQUAAIP ideology? Yes, they will. But we will know in our hearts and in our minds that we did the right thing. So that's why I want to give you this challenge. It's not a very hard one. Whenever you see a rainbow flag or a rainbow in general, don't think about the LGBTQUAAIP community. Think about Noah and all he had to go through. And know that you are in the right. Keep the faith, love God, and stand for what you believe in, even if you get called terrible names. In the end, there could have been so many different stories I could have talked about this week. The assassination attempt on Brett Kavanaugh that the media is desperately trying to cover up. The January 6th televised propaganda thing. But instead, I decided to do this topic. Now, I understand that this episode will probably be the most controversial one that I have ever done, but honestly, it shouldn't be that controversial. We should all be able to stand in unison and call out evil things that people and groups are doing, especially the LGBTQAAIP community. They should not be immune to criticism. And if you're part of the LGBTQAAIP community and hate this stuff and think that these people are destroying your reputation, let me know in the comments down below. I am hoping that soon all of this wickedness and evilness will go away from our society. My fear is that it's just going to keep on getting worse and worse and worse. But I have peace of mind knowing that I am following the Bible and I am following my morals. And you should be too. And hopefully next week we won't need our puke buckets. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.